Hello, this is Dream Mention. We are back in our episode of the Libertarian Censored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Censored subreddit. Let's get right into it. So first we have, in the midst of Kegzift's anti-DEI frenzy, images of Enola Gay, B-29 atomic bomb were swept from Department of Defense websites. And that's from the dailybeast.com, posted by CH4Locks, and that's a cross post from the military subreddit. And yeah, I personally think that's kind of stupid on Pete Hegseth's and the DOD's part, but I can point to images of woke legislators being stupid as well. That it just goes to show you how people really just care more about the circle jerk than anything else these days. You can't even and that's why social media is just kind of so insufferable. I think these days it's all just circle jerking all the time about how stupid and incompetent the out group is. Patting yourself on the back for how smart and competent you and the in group are. And yeah, it just gets to be tiring after a while. It's the same thing every single day. Orange man bad, Republicans bad for the woke people, and then woke bad, transgender bad for the MAGA people. And it just gets to be tiring after a bit. Then we have, comments you upvote cannot be used against you, from CH4Locks, and that's a cross post from Behind the Bastard subreddit. And that's a message from Reddit. We've alerted to activity on your account that isn't breaking Reddit's rules. We have found that your, and then this guy's username, account violated Rule 8 by repeatedly upvoting posts and or comments that break Reddit's rule against encouraging or glorifying violence or physical harm. And yeah, my thoughts on this are, I think it's interesting. Reddit censored pretty much any dissent for years, and average Redditor couldn't care less about it. But now that they're censoring, them circle jerking around their favorite killer Luigi Mangione, and violent posts that say, like, it's kill Nazis, and has a picture of Elon Musk in the crosshairs. I think that was the second highest upvoted post on Reddit before it was removed. And that just goes to show you how, these people don't care about freedom of speech. They just want their circle jerk, it's kind of like they deserve it, I would say, because they didn't care about Reddit's freedom of speech for years, and they constantly censored and banned anyone who dissented at all. But now that they're getting censored, it's the worst thing ever. And that just goes to show you how we gotta support free speech, even if it might be threats and physical violence, because that's ultimately, people will justify, all speech is free speech, even if it might be considered a threat or a call for to violence. And yeah, my thoughts are, but on the other hand, the libertarian perspective is Reddit does want to have a ban against content that might that might be considered threats or calls to violence. It should be able to. So yeah, when Twitter banned Trump back in 2021, all the progressives were like, oh, Twitter's a private company, it can do whatever it wants. But now that they're getting silenced and removed, suddenly they care about free speech. It just goes to show you how people only care about their own free speech rather than free speech as a whole. And yeah, that's why you can't trust a lot of people these days when they say stuff like, I support free speech, because they really just only mean their free speech. Like, Trump says, oh, I'm a free speech guy, but then he says, oh, we gotta arrest people who are protesting anti-Semitism, or protesting against anti-Semitism, or we gotta censor people because their protests are considered anti-Semitic. And that just goes to show you how, it's really just, for a lot of people, it just depends who's in the in-group and who's in the out-group. Then we have, Justice Department opens probe of sharp surge in egg prices. Antitrust enforcers are investigating whether large producers have engaged in anti-competitive conduct, from WSJ.com, posted by B. Hart Hari. And yeah, I don't think that's something that the government can do, because, I think it's the bird flu more than price fixing or anti-competitive conduct. But the government always thinks it should be getting involved in anything, even if it has no business there. Sometimes bad things happen. There might be less eggs, and they might get more expensive. But you just have to cope with that. You shouldn't need the government to get involved in every single facet of daily life. But that seems to be what a lot of people want these days. Then we have Trump considers pulling troops out of Germany from Yahoo.com, posted by Color Monochrome. And yeah, this is one of the things I agree with Trump on. I don't think the U.S. should police the world anymore. I know progressive Reddit used to always be against Reddit policing the world. Progressive Reddit used to always be against the U.S. policing the world. But now that the Orange Man says we got to get our troops out of foreign bases, suddenly they want troops overseas because Trump can say anything. Trump could say murder is wrong, and then they'd say murder is 100% justified. It's just that Reddit has no values at this point other than being anti-Trump, and that just goes to show you how you might not like Trump, but just because he says something doesn't make it inherently wrong, despite what a lot of progressives might think these days. Then we have Trump announces new 250% tariff on Canada starting almost immediately from Newsweek.com, posted by Donald Key, and that's a cross post from the Facepalm subreddit. And yeah, I personally am against tariffs, but Reddit only cares about the tariffs right now because the Orange Man's doing them. But they were completely fine with them under Biden in regards to China, and it just goes to show you how Reddit has no values other than it has to be against whatever Orange Man is for. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have trans woman moved to men's jail despite judges ruling against Trump order from themirror.com, posted by Swampyanky Dan. And yeah, I personally think prisons should be separated by biological sex because you have a lot of trans women in jails that abuse the biologically female inmates. And yeah, or I guess another thing could be that you could maybe put the trans woman in their own wing, away from the away from the cisgender males and females. But regardless, I personally, I think, most times they uphold the court order, but if it just depends on who has the force and power to do what. In this case, if the people who wanted to enforce the law or wanted to go against judges, or that's their justification. That's just to show you how it doesn't matter what is often the rule; it matters how it's enforced. And in reality, people always make a big fuss over who the elected officials are that make the laws. But it's all. I would argue the more important thing is the people who enforce them. And yeah, personally, I don't think it really matters too much other than on Reddit where, trans people have to get what they want every single time or else it's fascism. But it just goes to show you how, ultimately it does matter who enforces the laws rather than what actually the laws are. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have my political views in the picture from Endless Exploration. That's a crosspost from the Rare Historical Photos subreddit. Here comes the end of the Soviet Communist propaganda for school children. A school dustbin in Husseldorf, East Berlin, June 1991. There's pictures of Karl Marx, Lenin, and there's another communist guy, I think, in there. And yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Not too many posts in the subreddit I agree with 100%, but this would definitely be one of them. Communism is trash. It might be good in theory, but in practice, it's just going to result in tyrants like Stalin and Mao. Then we have the global situation right now from Donald Key, and that's a crosspost from the Wall Street Bets Elite subreddit. French Gender perfectly summarizes Trump's disastrous global leadership. And yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. It's an 8.5 minute video. I'm not gonna watch all of it. But yeah, if you want to think Trump's not good on the global leadership front because he wants to, stop having the U.S. police the world, that's on you. I just think it's interesting how, a lot of progressives, they wanted the U.S. out of stop policing the world during 2000s during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. But now that the Orange Man says we can't police the world anymore, they suddenly want to police the world because if Orange Man says up, they'll just say down. Then we have FCC chairman sends letter to Google CEO over network's complaint that YouTube TV discriminates against faith-based programming from Deadline.com by FilmZL5563. And yeah, I personally think a private company should be allowed to discriminate over whatever programming they want. I don't know if if they actually are discriminating against faith-based programming, but ultimately I think it should be their decision, the YouTube TV's decision, the platform that the programming is on, rather than that of the FCC. And That's my thoughts there. Then we have first porn, now skin cream. Age verification bills are out of control. And that's from EFF.org by CH4Locks, and that's crosswords from the conservative terrorism subreddit. And yeah, personally, I'm very against age verification. I think people will justify what they justify regardless of their age, and yeah, it's not. I don't think it should be the government's job to police morality. I personally don't think underage kids should be looking at porn or buying skin cream. But it does. It should be what they want to justify, rather than what the state should what the state thinks. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Trump boost message telling voters shut up about egg prices from the dailybeast.com, posted by Donald Key. And of course, the progressive Redditors didn't care about any prices for during Biden's whole tenure, but then the Orange Man takes over, and suddenly they care about the price of everything. It just goes to show you how the people are hypocrites. They don't care about anything when their guy's in power, but the Second Amendment member of the outgroup gets power, then they'll care about every single thing. Like they didn't care about any of the plane crashes between and during Biden's term, but now every single little plane crash there is, they think it's the end of the world, and that just goes to show you how it just most people have no principles. It's just whatever the person in the in-group say, whatever the people in the in-group say versus whatever people in the out-group say. Then we have Elon Musk Starlink has a growing footprint in the federal government from NBCNews.com, posted by Ninja Lover, and they had funny how that works. And yeah, I personally think there is a lot of big business, big government collaboration when it comes to enriching themselves. But people like Ninja Lover here didn't care when Joe Biden used his influence to enrich Hunter Biden. He got him on the board of Burisma in Ukraine, and he also when the previous administration also enriched all their progressive NGO friends. The enrichment of enrichment and government corruption is kind of inevitable, regardless of which branch of the Uniparty is in power. And but people like on Reddit only seem to care when it's the out group rather than the in group doing it. Then we have cops burst into woman's restroom to remove butch lesbian, accusing her of being a man. The only woman in the woman's restroom were the cops from the LGBTQNation.com. It's the only men in the restroom were the cops. And that's from CH4Locks from LGBTQNation.com. And yeah, I personally don't think the police should be policing bathrooms, but I don't think the police should be policing anywhere. It should be up to each individual to police themselves. Use whatever bathroom you want to. If you don't care for someone in the if you think someone in the bathroom looks to be the opposite gender and you want to tell them that, you should be able to tell them that. But I personally would just keep to myself. I think a lot of people just want to keep themselves. If you want to make a big deal about bathrooms, you should be able to. But I think a lot of people are just tired of all the transgender circle jerk at this point, regardless of if it being bathrooms or sports, etc., etc. Then we have, is Trump preparing to invoke the Insurrection Act? Signs are pointing that way from sfchronicle.com, posted by Rubber Stump Baby. And yeah, Trump's always supposed to become literally Hitler any day now, but they've been saying that for 10 years. I personally don't think it's that realistic. He'll do what he can get away with. I don't think he can get away with the Insurrection Act or running for a third term, but I guess we'll have to just wait and see what people let him get away with. Then we have Pentagon keeps bouncing cash into golf courses, even as Trump slashes government spending, and that's an archive link from The Intercept. And yeah, that's why I just go show you, spending will still be, they'll still piss away money regardless of which branch of the Uniparty is in power, and they might piss it away on different things. Like, I'm sure the current branch of the Uniparty will piss a lot more on Israel away than the old branch of the Uniparty, but they'll still piss away money regardless, and that's true regardless of who's in power. And I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.